Today we're diving into a really powerful book by Thibaut Maurice called Master Your Thinking. We're going to explore this huge idea. What if the key to getting what you want isn't working harder, but thinking better? What if it's all about aligning your thoughts with the way things actually are?
Okay, let's just get right to it. Do you ever have that feeling, you're putting in the work, you're hustling, you're doing all the things you're supposed to do, but you're just not getting any closer to your big goals? It feels like you're just spinning your wheels in the mud.
Well, here's the central argument of the book, and it's a game changer. The problem isn't your work ethic. It's not that you're lazy. The real thing holding you back, it's the way you think.
So to really understand this, we need to first talk about something the book calls the goal-reality gap. This is that frustrating space between where you are right now and where you desperately want to be.
The book gives us this fantastic concept called your model of reality. Now, think of it like your own personal internal map. It's made up of everything you believe about yourself, about other people, about how the world works. And this map, it dictates every single move you make.
And here's where it all connects. If your map is wrong, if your beliefs about the world are just a little bit off from how the world actually operates, then it doesn't matter how hard you run. Your actions just won't get you where you want to go. That mismatch, that's the goal-reality gap. That's the source of all that frustration.
And listen, this isn't just some abstract idea. Thinking inaccurately has a real and honestly, a pretty high cost in our day-to-day lives. Let's actually look at the damage it does.
So the book points to 4 big consequences here. First, flawed thinking creates so much unnecessary suffering and drama. Like when you completely misread a text message and spend the next 2 days stressed out for no reason? Yeah, that. It also makes us waste our precious time and energy on things that just don't matter. It makes us feel terrible about ourselves when we fail to hit goals that were unrealistic to begin with. And the end result of all of this? We just feel completely overwhelmed.
And this quote from the book really nails it. Our thoughts are the fuel for our actions. So if your thoughts are flawed, your actions will be flawed. And guess what? Your results are going to be disappointing. It's a straight line, a direct chain reaction.
So this is the big question, right? If thinking this way is so damaging, why do we do it? Why is our thinking so often flawed in the first place? Well, it turns out there are 2 main culprits, our brains and our egos.
First up, our brains. See, our brains are kind of lazy. They're wired to save energy, not necessarily to be 100% accurate all the time. To do this, they use all these little mental shortcuts. You might know them as cognitive biases. And the problem is, these shortcuts often warp how we see the world, and we don't even notice it's happening.
And what's so wild is how familiar these biases sound when you see them laid out. Let's just take a second here. You've got the self-serving bias. I succeeded because I'm a genius. I failed because my boss hates me. We've all been there. Then there's the sunk cost fallacy, that little voice that says, I've already put 6 years into this. I can't quit now, even if it's making you miserable. Oh, and the planning fallacy, my personal favorite, where you think, oh, this will take an hour tops, and then boom, your whole day is gone. Then you've got survivorship bias, where we only look at the winners and forget the thousands who tried the exact same thing and failed. And of course, the Dunning-Kruger effect. I watched a 10-minute YouTube video on this. I'm basically an expert now.
Let's just zoom in on that sunk cost trap for a second, because it's so powerful. Your past self, yeah, they made some investments. But you, right now, have to make choices for your future self. So the real question you have to ask is, knowing what I know today, would I still make this investment? If the answer is no, it's time to walk away. It doesn't matter what you've already spent.
So, on top of all those brain shortcuts, there's the other big obstacle, our ego. The book talks about the ego as that part of us that's obsessed with protecting our current identity. And it hates change because any change feels like a threat to who we are, even if who we are is what's keeping us stuck.
An ego is sneaky. It gets in our way in these 4 classic ways. It keeps us in denial, pretending a problem doesn't exist. It stops us from asking for help because we're afraid of looking stupid, when really, asking questions is the fastest way to get smart. It makes us so terrified of failing that we never take the big risks we need to take to grow. And its favorite trick? Blaming everyone and everything else, which feels good for a second, but completely strips us of any power to change our situation.
Okay, so we've laid out the problem. We know what's causing it. Now we get to the most important part of all of this. What in the world do we do about it? How do we actually start to align our thinking with reality?
The book lays out a really clear 3-step path. It's actually pretty simple. Number 1, accept reality for what it is, not what you wish it was. You got to stop arguing with what's right in front of you. 2, you have to challenge your own assumptions.
Constantly ask yourself, what do I actually know for sure here? And 3, create an effective process by focusing only on the things you can control.
Now that first step, accepting reality, really comes down to this tiny but powerful mindset shift. It's moving from the word should to the word could. See, saying I should be making more money is just a judgment. It's you arguing with reality, and it just creates guilt. But when you say I could be making more money, well, now that's different. That accepts where you are and immediately opens your mind to possibilities and actions. It's so much more empowering.
And that leads us right into that final step, building an effective process. This is just a fancy way of saying, figure out a set of actions that, if you do them every single day, give you the best possible chance of succeeding. That's it. It shifts your entire focus away from the outcome, which you can't control, to your daily actions, which you can.
And this right here is the whole ballgame. An outcome goal is something like sell 100,000 books. You don't have total control over that, right? The market could change, a million things could happen. But a process goal is write for 45 minutes every day. That you have absolute 100% control over. And the book argues that's where all your power is, in the process.
So we're going to leave you with this. This is the big, tough question the book forces you to ask yourself. And you have to be brutally honest about it. Looking at your daily actions right now, if you change nothing and just keep doing what you're doing, will you actually get to where you want to go? Your answer to that question tells you everything you need to know about how well your thinking is aligned with reality.